Imagine discovering a handful of ordinary-looking beans that can grow a tree all the way into the heavens, only to learn that something far worse is waiting at the top. And what if those beans could also unleash an army of giants capable of destroying an entire kingdom? That nightmare begins with a young boy named Jack. Jack grows up on a farm, raised by a father who loves telling him stories about legendary kings and impossible adventures. But one story captures Jack's imagination more than any other: the tale of a king who once defeated an army of giants. Long ago, monks created mysterious magical beans. Their goal was extraordinary: grow a gigantic tree that could reach the heavens. And it worked. A massive tree rose into the clouds, creating a path between Earth and a strange world above. But the monks didn't find God waiting for them. They found giants. The creatures were enormous, violent, and hungry. When they discovered the humans, they attacked immediately. The kingdom desperately fought back until its soldiers finally managed to kill one of the monsters. Then the monks discovered something inside its body that would change everything. They used magic on the giant's heart and transformed it into a crown. When the king wore it and stood before the giants, the impossible happened. Every giant dropped to its knees. The crown gave its wearer absolute power over them. The king ordered the creatures to return to their world, then destroyed the giant tree so no one could ever reach them again. The remaining magical beans and the enchanted crown were hidden away with the king when he died. For generations, the story survived only as a legend. And strangely, it became the favorite story of two children who would eventually become part of the same nightmare. One was Jack, the other was the princess. Her mother had told her the legend when she was young, just as Jack's father had told him. Neither child could have imagined that one day they would be standing in the middle of that legend themselves. 10 years later, Jack is a young man struggling to keep his family's farm alive. His uncle sends him into the city to sell their horse. But instead of finding a buyer, Jack finds himself drawn toward a crowd watching a theatrical performance. It's a play about the ancient king and his battle with the giants. Jack watches, fascinated. And somewhere in that crowd is a young woman hiding beneath a disguise. It's the princess. She's secretly escaped the palace because her father has arranged a marriage she absolutely does not want. Her future husband is Roderick, a powerful and ambitious man she despises. When several men begin harassing the disguised princess, Jack tries to intervene. Unfortunately, bravery doesn't make him invincible. One punch sends Jack crashing to the ground. Then the entire crowd suddenly bows. Jack looks around, wondering why everyone has suddenly become afraid of him. The princess is standing behind him. Royal guards rush in and escort her back to the palace. Jack returns home, completely unaware that his life is about to change forever. Because Roderick has a secret. Inside his private study, he discovers that someone has broken in. The ancient magical crown has been stolen from its hiding place. Roderick manages to find it hidden inside a plant pot, but the magical beans are missing. He immediately orders his men to hunt down the monk responsible. Meanwhile, that monk is desperately escaping through the city, and he runs straight into Jack. The monk offers to buy Jack's horse. Jack asks for payment. The monk doesn't have any money. Instead, he hands Jack several strange beans. Jack is stunned. He has just traded a valuable horse for a handful of seeds. The monk assures him they're worth far more than gold. They're magical. They can change the world. Then comes the warning Jack absolutely must remember. Never let them get wet. The monk takes the horse and disappears. Jack returns home. His uncle is furious when he discovers what happened. Jack tries to explain, but his uncle thinks he's been completely fooled. He throws the beans onto the floor. Jack quickly gathers them up, but one bean slips through a crack in the wooden floor. Neither of them notices. Outside, rain begins pouring down, and at that exact moment, the princess is making her own escape. She has fled the palace to avoid the unwanted marriage. Seeing the light from Jack's home, she approaches and asks for shelter. Jack recognizes her immediately. The two begin talking, but underneath their feet, something horrifying is happening. Rainwater seeps through the floorboards and reaches the forgotten bean. The warning is instantly forgotten. The bean comes alive. A giant stalk explodes from the ground. The house is ripped apart and lifted into the air. Jack is thrown outside, but the princess is trapped inside. The enormous beanstalk continues rising, carrying her farther and farther into the clouds. Jack can only watch helplessly. By morning, the kingdom is staring at an impossible sight. A colossal beanstalk stretches into the sky. Its top can't even be seen. When the king arrives, Jack explains everything. The magical beans, the princess, the house, the legend. The king realizes that the old story wasn't fiction after all. A rescue mission is organized immediately. Roderick volunteers, pretending that his love for the princess is his only motivation. Jack volunteers too. Soon, the rescue party begins climbing toward the clouds. But halfway up, Roderick reveals his true nature. He secretly cuts the climbing rope. Several knights plunge to their deaths. The remaining survivors finally reach the mysterious world above the clouds. Before Jack can even catch his breath, Roderick pulls a knife. He demands the beans. Jack hands them over. But Roderick doesn't realize Jack has secretly kept one. The group separates to search for the missing princess. Then a giant attacks. Jack watches helplessly as the creature captures his companions and disappears with them. Instead of running away, Jack follows. Because he knows where the giant is going. Straight to its home. Meanwhile, Roderick and another group encounter a giant of their own. Roderick betrays one of his remaining knights, sending him over a cliff. Then the giant kills the last survivor. Now Roderick is alone. The monster prepares to eat him. But Roderick reaches into his clothing and pulls out the ancient crown. He places it on his head. The giant immediately kneels. Roderick finally possesses the power he has been searching for. He walks into the giant's stronghold wearing the crown. And every giant bows. Even their enormous two-headed leader is forced to obey. The princess and Jack's friend Elmont are being held prisoner nearby. Roderick looks at the giants and realizes he no longer needs the throne of a human kingdom. He can conquer the entire world. He orders the giants to prepare for war. But before that army can reach Earth, Jack discovers where the prisoners are being held. A giant cook is preparing to eat Elmont. Jack sneaks into the kitchen. He grabs a knife and attacks. The giant collapses. Jack frees Elmont and the princess. Together, they race toward the beanstalk. They are almost home. Then they see the problem. A giant guard is sleeping directly beside the path. Jack spots a beehive. An idea forms. He drops the hive into the giant's helmet. The creature wakes up in agony, thrashing wildly until it loses its balance. Then it falls off the edge. Far below, the king sees the giant falling. His worst fear is confirmed. The giants are coming. The king orders his soldiers to cut down the beanstalk immediately. It doesn't matter that his daughter may still be above. If the stalk remains, the entire kingdom could fall. Elmont refuses to leave with Jack and the princess. He stays behind to stop Roderick. Jack and the princess begin climbing down. Above them, Elmont confronts Roderick. The two fight, and finally, Elmont kills him. But the enchanted crown falls from Roderick's head. At the same moment, the soldiers on Earth cut through the giant stalk. It begins collapsing. Jack and the princess cling to it as the entire structure crashes toward the ground. They survive, but the crown has landed in the giant's world. Their two-headed leader finds it. He places it on his finger. Now the giants have a new master, and he's far more dangerous than Roderick ever was. Then the giants discover the remaining magical beans. They throw them into water. The earth shakes. New beanstalks erupt everywhere, creating multiple paths down to Earth. The invasion has begun. Back at the kingdom, the king finally gets his daughter back. He's relieved beyond words. He thanks Jack for saving her, but he doesn't realize that Jack and the princess have fallen in love. Jack eventually says goodbye and begins riding home. Then he looks toward the sky. He sees enormous beanstalks descending toward Earth. Jack realizes the truth. The giants aren't returning peacefully. They're coming to destroy the kingdom. He immediately turns around and races back. He arrives just in time to warn the king. The giants have arrived. They smash through the kingdom's defenses. Castle walls crumble. Soldiers are overwhelmed. The giants want revenge against the royal family that once defeated them. Jack and the king race toward the castle. The gates are closing. Jack barely makes it onto the drawbridge before it rises. But a giant grabs the bridge. Elmont commands the archers to fire. A storm of arrows strikes the creature, sending it crashing into the moat. But even that doesn't stop the invasion. Other giants pull at the castle gates. Others hurl burning trees over the walls. The kingdom is slowly being torn apart. The king finally realizes they can't hold forever. He sends the princess to the highest tower. She must light the beacon and call neighboring kingdoms for help. Jack goes with her. But before they reach the tower, the floor explodes. The giant leader bursts through the castle from beneath. It grabs Jack and the princess. The creature opens its enormous mouth. They're seconds away from being eaten. Then Jack remembers the final being, the one he secretly saved. He throws it straight into the giant's mouth. The creature swallows. For one terrifying second, nothing happens. Then it begins shaking. Something starts growing inside its body. A massive beanstalk tears through the giant from within. The monster collapses. Its hand lands beside Jack, and the crown is still attached to its finger. Jack picks it up. Outside, the remaining giants have entered the castle. The king and his knights prepare for one final battle. They know they are surrounded. Then suddenly, every giant stops. They turn toward Jack and kneel. The soldiers stare in disbelief. Jack realizes why. The crown has chosen a new master. Him. Jack now commands the giants. But instead of ordering them to destroy the kingdom, he gives them one simple command. Leave. Return to your world. And amazingly, they obey. The giants retreat. The magical beanstalks are destroyed. The kingdom is saved. The poor farm boy who once traded a horse for a handful of beans has become the unlikely hero who saved an entire kingdom from an army of giants. Eventually, Jack and the princess marry. Years later, Jack tells their children the incredible story. His children listen with wide eyes before asking the obvious question. Where is the magical crown now? Jack simply tells them it's hidden somewhere safe.